Hello everyone. I hope that you're all having a beautiful day. I'm excited today because I'm going to be opening up my first starter deck for the Gundam TCG, which is officially going to be releasing July 25th of this year. I am absolutely excited for this. As you can see in the background, I'm a big fan of Gundam. I've got a lot more kits built than this, but I just wanted to show off two of my favorites, the G Gundam and the Strike Freedom. Neither are featured in the early releases for the Gundam card game, but I have a feeling they're going to be loaded up in the second set and beyond. So I did pick up, as my first starter deck, the Wings of Advance, which is based around, well, Gundam Wing. And this is definitely the series that I personally have the most nostalgia with, along with the G Gundam series. But I'm curious to see what we're going to get inside of the starter deck. I do know, that we're going to get a Wing Gundam, which looks really sick. And then included in every starter deck is actually a bonus pack that's going to have an alt art card. So we'll open that up at the end. There's going to be 16 different possible cards, and obviously I would love to pull the alt art Wing Gundam, or the Talis would also be really, really cool. So let's see what else we got in the deck, and I want to show off to y'all the different cards inside. So beautiful, beautiful foil Wing Gundam legendary card. So if you see it, most of you are going to be completely new to the series. So if you are, the top right is where you're going to find the rarity. Sometimes in other different TCGs, they put it at the bottom of the card. This one's going to be up at the top. If it's an alt art, there's going to be a plus. So LR, this is a legendary card. You can see at the top, that's the cost. So that's how much resource it would cost to play it. And then there you can also see the level. So something unique about in this game is even though the card costs 4, you need to have at least 6 energy to be able to play it because it's got a certain level. So I do like that they've got a little bit of that built into the game. Ooh, another Wing Gundam. So we actually get 2 copies and both are foiled. And there's actually like some texture on this card too. So very, very, very beautiful. I'm guessing if you want to get the full play set, you're going to need to buy 2 copies of the starter deck. But that's just how most TCGs are. And, the Talis is also foil. That's really sick. So I was expecting just the Wing Gundam to be foil. But it looks like the Talis is as well. That is really, really cool. And I just think it's neat that you get to play both in the same deck. So we got Zemares piloting. You can see in the bottom side of the card, that's the pilot. That if you were to link it with that pilot, it's kind of like if you're familiar with Union Arena, kind of like the raid mechanic. So I do like that this TCG, it seems like Bandai has kind of borrowed different elements from other TCGs and kind of combined them into one. So if you're familiar with One Piece, if you're familiar with Union Arena, Digimon, I think there's elements of this card game that will end up being familiar to you too. So we've got Wing Gundam in the bird mode. Very cool transformation. I just ordered a Wing Gundam Endless Waltz Verka Master Grade kit. So that's something that I'm looking forward to building and adding to the collection. So we got 4 of the bird modes. We have how many of the heavy arms, also one of my favorite kits as a kid. So it looks like we've got 4 of the Gundam heavy arms. I'm guessing 4 of the Sandrock. So we've got 2, 3, it looks like just 3 of the Sandrock. All right, so just 3 of the Sandrock. And we got a Maganax. So this is kind of like a drone soldier there. The Leo. So it looks like we've got 4 of the Leo. The Ares, some more some just kind of general combat units to kind of round out the rest of the squad. Tragos. Ooh, Hero Yui. So this is something pretty cool. I like that in this game we have not just the mechs, not just the Gundams, but we also have the pilots. So Hero Yui, and they have different stats that as you can combine Hero Yui, it doesn't have to go on to the Wing Gundam, and then these are the different stats, almost kind of like an upgrade, like a weapon or something in a different type of game, kind of like Magic if you're equipping some arsenal on there. And then we got Zemares. And so there's also abilities that happen during Link, so kind of like raiding in a... during your turn, when this unit destroys an enemy unit with battle damage, draw 1. That's actually a pretty good ability because, especially in a starter deck format, usually they kind of become like top deck battles because there's not a lot of draw power usually built into starter decks. So the fact they've got it on the Zemares pilot, I think is pretty cool there. Ooh, Troa Barton there in the simultaneous fire. Very cool. Another one of the pilots. Quatra Roberba. Very, very cool. Pilot of the Sandrock. We got the Siege Ploy, and this is a pretty neat card with heavy arms there on the card artwork. St. Gabriel Institute. So this immediately, oh my god, it's the scene too. It's this, oh my god. So Wing Gundam is a show that I have a lot of nostalgia for, but let me tell you, if you try and rewatch the show, it has not really aged gracefully, especially in the dialogue. And this scene in particular is just such a ridiculous scene. You got to go check it out. They were cranking the edginess up to like beyond level 9,000 for this show, and it comes off pretty funny now, I feel like. Corsica base. So in addition to pilots, there's also base cards. And then here we got some resource cards. So I like that it does include the different resource cards that you would need to play the game. So we've got your 10 resources, and then we've also got your EX base and your EX resource. And so these are different tokens that you use depending on whether you go first or whether you're going second, and they're kind of used to balance out the game. So in different card games, you can have different advantages for going first and going second, and sometimes it even depends on what deck you're playing as to whether or not you want to go first or second. So this is the Gundam TCG's answer to kind of balancing out. So instead of getting like starting off with 2 Dawn and 1 piece, or instead of getting like the extra draw, here's the EX resource and the EX base. And then we've got some tokens. So sometimes different unit cards or abilities can summon other token units. And so here's some examples of these. You wouldn't normally put these into the deck, but there's something else in here that could spawn them. And then we've got a Talgeese token as well. And that's actually pretty cool artwork on the Talgeese. They're not double-sided, so there you can see the back, but that looks pretty cool. And then we've got the token counters. So I like that they include this in the deck as well. I'm just going to last check, make sure there's nothing else inside. There is some instruction papers on how to play the deck, and I'm sure it's going to, open it up and it'll be a playmat as well. So that's pretty standard for TCGs to include in a starter deck, but nice that they added into this one as well. And here's what I'm sure most of you are excited to see, what our alt art is going to be. Let's see, can we pull the coveted Wing Gundam or the Talgeese? Or, personally, I love me some heavy arms, so that would even be a fun one to see. What are we going to get? Opening up the pack. Oh, you know what? Troa Barton will take it. One of the main pilots from Operation Meteor. And so you can see the card is foiled. It's got some etching texture on the background. And then let me see if I can find the regular Troa just to kind of put it side by side for a comparison. So here you can see the 2 different Troa Bartons side by side. It looks like it's the same artwork, just with some foiling and some texture added into the background. So I know some of them do actually have straight up alternate art designs, but it looks like this one's more of just like a full art textured version. But still, very cool, and I'm glad to have hit one of the OG pilots. So I'm curious to hear, what are your plans for the Gundam TCG? Are you planning on just picking up a couple singles? Are you going to get a starter deck? And if you are going to get a starter deck, which one are you planning on choosing? Or do you intend on just jumping into the booster box and building your own from scratch? I'd love to hear it in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, I'd also greatly appreciate it if you could smash that like button and subscribe to the Manatee Nation for more videos like this. But most importantly, everyone, I hope that you all have a beautiful rest of your day. Let's go!